I cried. It tortured me. I didn't know that I could even do the story. They let us read the.
Hi everyone, welcome to Climate Women Media Action. This is our podcast episode 2. So, on this episode, we'll be talking about drum rolls. We'll be talking about stories, voices along the pipeline, voices along the pipeline. If you've heard about oil production in Uganda, the ECOP, and all of that, today we bring to life voices affected by the oil pipeline. These voices are mostly women who have lost and who have had to face all kinds of trauma because of this development. It's a good development for the country, but is it good for everyone? A question to answer in this episode. My name is Hedwig Garinitwe. I am a journalist, and today I am privileged, honored to host Faridah Mbabazi, whom most of you know from social media and for the good work she's been doing in the industry of journalism and the media and the climate space. So today we'll be diving into her past experience covering a documentary about the oil pipeline and bringing the voices of the women who are affected to life. So let's get into it. Hi, Faridah.
Hi, Edwin.
First of all, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and then we can get into it.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you here and to meet you, all of you here. Thank you for watching us, and please keep on watching. Be ready. A lot of things will be coming. My name is Mbabazi Faridah. I'm a female journalist. I do cover stories about climate change and human rights. I use the power of social media to to demand change, to put out those voices with the policymakers so that they can take change. I'm so happy that at least one of the few things I've ever wanted to do is to bring the untold voices, and I can't wait to see you guys subscribing to this YouTube channel as well as to look out to my first documentary.
Okay, if you have not watched the documentary, it is out, and I'll put a link in this episode so that you can watch it. But let's dive into the talk. So, Faridah, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
On publishing your first documentary. My first documentary was a learning curve. Everything I was just learning from scratch, scripting, shooting, angles, and all of that. But I enjoyed it. So I know you must have enjoyed this journey, but I can't speak for it. You are there yourself. So I want you to tell us, first of all, how did it feel shooting your first ever documentary? That is not just a documentary, but a documentary that brings undertold stories or ignored stories to life, especially the stories of women.
Thank you so much. This was an interesting and kind of challenging journey for me. I won't say that it was my first experience to bring these voices out, but here when it comes to documental, I know you know it is a bit challenging. There is ups and downs, and being a woman, it's not always easy for us. For so long, to those who know, maybe one of the reasons why I wanted to bring these stories out there is that I used to talk about ECOP. You talk about the pipeline oil, and imagine very many Ugandans are not aware of it. And if you raise these issues online, you won't get that support because people are not aware about ECOP. ECOP, this is 1,443 kilometer pipeline that is running from Hoima, Uganda, to Tanzania, to the port of Tanga in Tanzania, and it is going to be transporting oil purposely. Now it is passing through different districts, namely Hoima, Gomba, where I come from, Sembabule, Lakai, among all of those. So it passed through gardens, a lot of people's houses, to mention, but if it is, I would say that maybe many people come out and say it has come with development, but to me at times I challenge it because I see development, yes, but people along it are suffering. Mostly, I'm quoting women because to those who know about in our African culture, if you get married, you can't marry a man. So it is a man to marry you. It means the money taking you to that land, you don't own that land, but you're going to do everything on that land. You're going to dig, you're going to give back, you're going to do a lot of things. Now what happened is that when the compensation money came, it was paid to the real owners of the land, the men. And guess what? These men completely abandoned their families. Women are left as single mothers with nowhere to go. So I would say this has been a challenging and interesting journey because I personally, I learned a lot. It drained me emotionally, but it also showed me that I have to be strong for others.
Oh. If you don't know the oil pipeline, it's the East African crude oil pipeline. So Uganda discovered oil, and now we are at a level of getting to drill the oil and make some money as a country. Also grow the economy. Good development, but like I said, some people are affected and those voices are shut down. But storytelling, like what Farida is doing, is bringing those voices out. So tell us, Farida, how did you walk the journey? Imagine we were to go with you. How did it start and how did it go?
Yeah, thank you so much. The beginning of the journey, everything was smooth and okay. I was already in touch with these women since I've been covering these stories. You visit those stories. Like we have that kind of a bond with those communities. So the first day, everything was okay. We went and documented everything. We came back. Life was so sweet. I know it was a tiresome journey from Kampala to Hoima. The traffic jam here, there and there, you get tired, but at least everything was smooth. Now, the challenging part is moving all those long hours coming back and reaching to check out, maybe to do the editing and realizing that you had lost completely everything you have documented.
What?
Everything was lost.
That's crazy.
And this is the information I received from the editors. And I'm like, you guys, you're not fair. You know how tiresome it is. It was so stressful because in everything I do personally, I pray. I pray. I always pray for God's guidance. It was challenging. I'd given up. There was a certain time when I was like, no. Remember, you have invested money. It has drained you completely. The journey. So I was like, I don't have any more money to invest in this.
I guess that's what they call journalism dilemmas. It's not all sweet. You also have those dilemmas. She lost the content. So what happened? Did you give up and just let it go? How did we then get the voices?
With time, I decided to sit down. I actually cried. Because I cried. It's because these women told the stories, these touching stories, serious stories. So I could feel the pain, and I'm like, now I'm disappointing these women. I traveled. These women were so happy to see me there because women out there want to tell their stories, but they don't have access at all. They have no one to trust with their stories. They have no one to go on ground. So it was hard for me. I took time, and I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen to me. It took me like a week, and I was completely not even focusing on that documentary. Like I was so stressed, disappointed. Like we were just in exchanging words with my producers, editors. Why doing this, and this? Now, when I sat down with time, I was like, no, I can't disappoint these women. These are our mothers who saw a young girl and they trusted me.
Wait, you say that these women had stories to tell, but they had no one to tell the stories. That means they lacked access to a platform to tell their stories. And she was now the platform.
Yeah. So with time later, we actually talked politely with my team, and later we had to go back. And I want to give a shout out to the team that I worked with because these are men, but they saw the painful stories of women. These are men who said, no, Farida, we have to go back because if we don't go back, these women have no one to go for them. We went back to tell these stories, and one of my sources, now on that day I was heading to document. Everything was okay. I prayed and God was guiding us along the way. Now reaching Chivoga, I had one of the sources that I had to actually document. I called her. These women called me their daughter. I was like, I called them, Mommy, are you available? And she was like, I have a patient here, but I can come. We do the documentary, we do the interview, then you proceed, because I had to proceed to Hoima.
Yeah.
Now I was like, no, let me first come and check on the patient, then later we do what? We go.
Sorry.
Now, when I went to Chiboga Hospital to check on the patient, this woman had lost her land completely
Because of the pipeline.
because of the pipeline.
Oh, dear.
It has been now 10 years. She has never received a
Any
compensation. Now she lost her land, and when these guys came to the pipeline developers, they came to us saying, the pipeline is going to pass here. Find a place to stay. They didn't tell her how much are we going to pay you. They didn't tell her where you should go. And this is a single mother. Now, the funny part of this story is that the land the land is for the man. But the fact is that the man doesn't own a national ID, and the man has to be paid on a bank account. You know what it costs to have an account in the bank. The man was like, no, it's okay. Let the money be paid to the woman. They actually separated. So the woman, everything was to be handled by the woman. The woman borrowed money over 20,000 shillings to open an account. She didn't know how much she was going to be paid because they didn't tell her how much we are giving you. The only statement she received is that the pipeline is passing here, leave the place. This woman had to leave the place. Now leaving the place, she had nowhere to stay. The father-in-law was like, you can come and stay here as we are waiting for the compensation, because it was like a forced relocation.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, and
unfair.
a single mother of 9 children, imagine.
Yeah, that's unfair. Is that allowed, forced relocation?
I don't know, because I believe that is not allowed. You can't force someone to relocate. Now, in the sad story of it is that when I talked to her, she was like, my land was worth like 30 million, and they were giving me 11 million. To those who know our money here, 11 million can't construct a house and buy a land.
Yeah,
so she was like, what should we do for you? Should we build for your house, or we give you money? And she was like, if there is an option of a house, you can give me a house, because what I'm looking for is to have a small house where I can put my children, and also a small left land to do my farming.
Yeah.
Now she had to come to the father-in-law because completely she had to leave the place. Now the father-in-law told her, you can try to get a small house here as we are waiting for the compensation. It's over 9 years right now as I speak.
Wow.
The father-in-law died in those 9 years waiting for the compensation.
Oh.
Yeah.
So up to this,
there is no compensation.
Wow.
This is a woman who tried to come out and speak, but she had no platform. She's deep in the village. No one can speak for her.
I know it's not yet the point of asking the authorities. Were you able to get in touch with anyone from Total, anyone that is supposed to be compensating those people?
Yeah, when I talked to the lady, I'm sorry, let me first finish the story. When I talked to the lady after I told her, why did you leave the place? And she was like, I was given a certain piece of land. And I was like, did you access that land? I was like, no, I was taken to that land, taken photos, and later I had to go back and get the land. But as I was going back with my family to stay there with a small tent, I was chased by the real land owners, telling me that no, they just used this place to take photos.
What?
You get it?
Does that even happen? They took photos of the lady.
Showing showing her that is the land. So I was like, I asked the lady who is in charge of your case. She told me, she mentioned the man. So I was like, do you have his contact? How long have you been communicating? And she's like, it's now 9 years, but every time I communicate, this person keeps on telling me, we are working on you, we are working on you. So and I'm like, what is next? The relatives are chasing her away on the land also. They're telling her, please go. If they didn't pay you, it's up to you. We are tired of staying here with your family. You should find another place to settle. Maybe you received the money and you're busy here lying us. When I tried to talk to that gentleman called Katongole, this man was like, hello, do you know this woman, Tushabe Gertrude? And he was like, yes, I know the woman. How far is his case? He was like, who are you? And I'm like, yes, you're talking to Faridah, my journalist. No, you can talk to the Ministry of Energy. Why is she coming to you? What, like, he was trying to dodge questions, and then I realized that there is something wrong. And this is where I came.
Definitely there were gaps.
Now, this is the woman I went to visit. This is where my story started from. Reaching to Chiboga Hospital, as I had told you earlier, she had her only support system, the mother-in-law, because the father-in-law died. So this relative couldn't send her out of the land because she had the mother-in-law there to defend for her. On that day, the day before me reaching there was an accident that happened on her mother-in-law. On the day that I'm going to do a story, imagine.
Yeah.
And everything was smooth. Now reaching there, I was like, oh, let me first check on the patient. Oh my goodness. I just pray like whatever I witnessed doesn't happen to anyone at all, because it is so hurting, it is so painful seeing someone dying in your hands.
Oh dear, so she died?
She died because help was denied. I tried my level best on that day. I found the lady laid on a small hospital bed, nothing working on. She was coughing blood. Tried to communicate with the team, and they told me, no, we are giving them a transfer letter to Hoima. We don't have medicine. And I'm like, why are you saying all this now? Why didn't you give them a transfer letter the day before you get it? And when the ambulance came, I tried my level best so that we secure an ambulance. Remember, on that day, I had to do my documentary. Now I found this story along the way that I couldn't just jump and be like, let me ignore this woman.
So your story came from covering voices affected by the oil pipeline to poor health care services. Oh Lord. You see, that's a connection we talk about. That stories that deal with the environment, with people, are interconnected. It goes the whole runway. So it came from just the oil pipeline, it goes to poor health services, and
that is how hard life is, and you can't tell that you're going to dodge this. You can't dodge those stories. Now I tried
for you
to ask for help from all the people around the hospital to help us carry this woman into the ambulance. They refused.
That was the mother-in-law to the lady, your source.
Yeah, and that was our only hope. Like, I looked at this woman's life and I was like, this is the only woman who has our life. Now, if anything happens to her, this lady has...
The story dies.
It is going to die. I don't know what is going to happen to this woman. I don't really know. We tried to do everything. When we tried to put this woman into the ambulance, the situation got a bit worse. I went to the doctor and begged this man help to come and check on the patient. The doctor was like, what should I do? Who are you? What is your profession? Imagine someone is busy scrolling his phone. Me, I knew that person is going to die. Now, if she's going to die, am I God? I cried. I cried completely, and later came back to the people with the ambulance, and I told the family, the doctor has refused. What should we do? Now the family was like, maybe she's dead. Maybe she's still alive. Now, doing all of this, I didn't know that people were documenting me. I didn't know that people were busy putting on camera. And this is when the person died in front of us with a doctor reporting. So it drained me completely. To those who saw my videos online, they left us with the body. They didn't tell us anything. The doctor was just arrogant. You get it. So we had to proceed. I talked to the lady and I'm like, ma'am, because I call her ma'am, ma'am, I'm not going to cover this story. I think you're not okay. Let us take this body home as we arrange the burial things. Yeah, we shall maybe find time. The lady hugged me crying. I even posted that photo and it's like, Faridah, this is the time I need my voice to be heard like never before.
That's so powerful. Like, even the situation where she should have said, no, let me first go bury my dead mother-in-law, she said, this is the time I need my voice to be heard.
She told me, Faridah, I need my voice to be heard. This is the only opportunity I have. I didn't know where you found me. I didn't know how you got to know me. Now, if you leave me completely, I need people to see what is happening so that I can find a place to stay. Now, my mother-in-law has died. The only support system I have. What is going to happen to my children? What is going to happen to me? And this is the woman who tried to commit suicide 2 times because she had lost hope completely.
That's a lot for someone to deal with.
Yeah.
But also for you now who's covering the story, I'm looking at your mental health in that moment. You are covering this story to bring this woman's voice out, but then you have to literally fit into her life, literally experience her reality, what she goes through on a daily, and this is what you get to.
Yeah, at times the stories we tell, we have to be to feel, to be like, I would say, to be in the sorry state with the people we are with, not to only wear the profession side. If it needs crying, you have to let that those emotions a bit out. Like me, I cried completely, and very many people online were like, "Ah, is that Farid?" I cried because I had a lot of pain. Now imagine me, a journalist, had just gone to cover a story crying like that. Now what about the woman who wanted also almost to kill herself? So that is how draining these stories are. And the funny part is that I won't say that I won't look at these stories at me or around. Is that I'll just focus on the journalist as general. We cover stories, and these people don't care about our mental health.
Yes.
You get it? Someone will be like, all we need to see is the story delivered.
Yeah.
So I also think that they need to monitor our mental health.
Yeah, that's a topic I think that our editors, our newsroom leads should be able to discuss. How do we make sure that the mental health of our journalists is not dwindling? I mean, do we even have safe house, safe places for us to go to when you experience such a situation covering a story, or it's get along with it? I mean, it's journalism. This is what happens. These are things that we need to encourage to have in our newsrooms. That journalists have places they can go for counseling after experiencing such things. We've had elections, and I know many were affected by the whole trying to cover those times, bringing the news to the people. But after it all, does a journalist who has been covering those elections have a place to go to find counsel? No. I don't know any newsrooms that are currently having like specifically, or they have put a place that journalists can go to for such counseling. I know maybe there are provisions, but can we just really intentionally do it for our journalists? That these stories, because now you still had to cover the story. Now, actually, now getting into that bit of it. So you proceeded to cover the story with the woman, right?
Yeah, we covered that story, and like having a camera in front of you, and the body, the dead body is just behind you. Like you have to be strong. At times, we need to show these people that we are strong.
Yeah,
As
we
a
have to
match,
be
we
strong
have to
for
show.
them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I covered that story, and thank God everything went smoothly. I promised that I'll be checking on them to see how they are doing. I had to proceed to Hoima to cover the
Another
other
story.
voices, because also these women were busy waiting. When I called them, by the way, before, and I'm like, I lost everything. They were like, Farida, do you want it today night? Do you want it tomorrow? Do you want it? Just come.
Wow.
We are here. We are ready. We don't need anything. All we want is that we want also to speak out for ourselves. We want to hear that our voices are being heard. We don't want these people who go and represent us. Someone is busy telling your story, and
It's not the right story.
yeah, so they were all ready. I covered the story and came back home. Now, coming back home after all of that, I went into a total depression. A real depression, trauma, because of what I'd experienced earlier.
Seeing a dead body, covering a story on the scene, man, this is this is a level of journalism that I can't even credit you for, because I don't know how to call it. I mean, there's a dead body behind you, and this person says, "I want my voice heard." For this lady, she believed that that was the right moment. Her voice should be heard, because if she has cried out for 9 years, 10 years, no one has heard her. The evidence of her mother-in-law dead there, should it be the only thing that should push her to speak? Why isn't anyone listening to her? Why are the authorities doing what they promised to do? Why isn't she having access to land that was promised to her after taking away what she owns? So, well, it's very interesting. Like I said, this story, the voices along the pipeline, brings out a lot of interconnected but hidden stories that now come to the surface. So now let's get back into it. Then tell us now, what was that one moment covering that story that made you realize that this oil, the voices along the pipeline, or this story that you're covering about these women who have been affected by the pipeline is not just a ECOP story. It connects to the environment. It affects other systems in our lives or in our communities.
No, when I looked at the scenario that happened at Chivoga, I like things were happening on a high speed. So when we talk about we think of climate change, we come and tell you, climate change, climate change. Now look at the pipeline; it has displaced people, and it is going to be the long-heated pipeline in the whole world. We don't know what is going to happen on the communities that are close to them. But look about this story and how sad it is. There are women who are being raped by pipeline developers. Yes. You get it. So this story, it has health problems. People are being impacted. Negatively. Those who have gained, who have received like positive impacts from it. I just wish like these people near this pipeline are gaining from it, because women are now crying. They are crying because ever since this pipeline came, they wouldn't say that the pipeline is also bad, but because of the impacts it brought to them. Like even those women who had their small land, who were landowners with just a small land, when they received the compensation, men decided, if you don't give me money, then go. Some decided to be single mothers. Some had to give money to the what? To the men. So when I look at this story, it carries a lot of the violation of human rights.
Yes.
You get it? You look about the health risks in it. You look like it has social, economic, and it is even political. So it has a lot in it. And it has, I won't say that men are not impacted. They are affected. But I want you to make research. Voices, ever since this ECOP came out, it's men speaking. Yeah. It's men. And I question these women at a certain point. Why you guys not speaking
up? Yeah.
And they're not giving us opportunity to speak. They feel like we can't speak. They always give men opportunities to speak. And aside that, because we have those painful stories, they'll always sideline with our men, our husbands, who even left home. So we won't have those spaces. We tried so much. They say that they've tried so much to speak, but at times they tell their stories and they don't even come to light. They end just there. At times I found those women who are saying, every time people come here and make interview, we'll be happy, but after here, it stops here.
Yeah, it never gets the light.
And the fact that these women are not educated, if you're to go there, please use the local language they understand.
Speak to them in a way they can understand what you're trying to say. Oh, so I understand. So from your experience interviewing the women, do you feel like these women don't know what they're saying? Because why aren't the authorities doing anything about what these women are saying? Why aren't they respecting their demands? Why aren't they answering to them? Do you think, from your experience, that these women don't know what they're saying? Are they coming from an emotional place to say what they're saying, or they're just not just being heard? Someone just decides to ignore them?
Not really. I actually want to say that these women know more than even men know, because they're even more impacted beyond into even their own families than men. They actually have proof. I always tell people that the reason why these women are being ignored, it's because that is a joint and a powerful voice. When a woman speaks out, she doesn't speak because of emotions, but she's speaking what is happening in her life. She's a proof of suffering, you get it? It is because their voices are ignored. That's why you're not seeing them in media. It is because their stories are not shared, and it is because they're not given a platform to speak. Because why would everyone, I tell you, every woman wanted to speak in the documentary. Everyone was like, I also want to speak, until I said, I'm going to give you an opportunity so that you select among yourselves for the start. We shall keep on collecting these stories. The stories are out there. There are very many, but they're not untold. That's what I realized.
Okay, so there are many stories about women who are affected by the oil pipeline, but they're not told. They are being pushed under the carpet. Wow, that's interesting. But now, that's speaking about opportunities. I believe now this gives you a light into what you can do, what you can change, and being a person that has experienced it, but also very passionate about bringing voices and giving people a platform to speak, I believe now this is something that you can evolve into and make sure that all those women that you left that weren't able to speak that day can be able to speak, and we can hear those stories, but also making sure that you use the platform that you have, your presence in social media, and the power that you hold in that space to advocate for these women to be able to get their requests and their voices heard, but also their demands answered too. So if the authorities say that they are planning or they promise to provide compensation and they have not provided it, how do we proceed? How do we help these women? Does it should then, if the stories are not making impact, then we use another platform. Then we go to social media, which has power. So I think we're not limited to opportunities or platforms to use as storytellers and as journalists. So we can take that advantage. So it's an opportunity. And that's why I love journalism, that every story you cover, you realize there's opportunity somewhere. There's opportunity to do better. There's an opportunity to change a life. And for you, that was what happened. But you realize that women are willing to tell their stories. Their stories are not just simply not just not being told. Or people are just simply ignoring their stories because they're telling their stories that not everyone would want to hear, because it's a reality, it's a lived reality, it's an experience that they're telling from what they have experienced. So, as a journalist now, actually closing out, what would be your advice, or what would be your tip that you give to a journalist who is getting into the field and is interested in covering stories that affect women directly?
Personally, the tip I will give journalists out there, some people at times will think that my stories are paid stories. No. You have to do everything from your heart. Like, if you're to teach, like passion, do it with a lot of passion. Second, if you're going to meet those women, like, be down, be a son, be a daughter to them. Don't speak English. These are people who are not educated, please. You don't need to be hard on them, because I am telling you.
Some are educated, some, because I've seen some women who actually speak good English.
Yeah.
So it's just as a journalist using your journalist eye and saying and realizing that you know this person, or actually approaching them, asking them which language do you prefer to speak in. That will actually be a very good point to start from.
So you can reach out to them, talk to them politely, who are willing to respond to the language you want to use. It is very okay. To those who don't understand their language, and I'm telling you, very many people out there, they want to tell their stories, kindly give them an opportunity. Be their chance, be their hope, because personally, I tried to save her life. I don't know what would have happened to that woman. And I'm telling you right now, when I brought that issue, it didn't stop about the documentary. Even before publishing this documentary, I posted so much about what happened, and I saw how a shout out to the Ministry of Health, how they took steps. They went and investigated. I saw how Honorable Nyamutolo responded to the issue of this woman, and is like, we are going to investigate into it and see how best we can bring it. Please, I believe we journalists have power to speak more than them.
Yes, we have.
So if you're to speak, don't only stop there. You can share on your online platform if you're truly okay with it.
Okay, interesting. A lot to learn. But also, as we close out, I would want to ask you, Farida. You covered this documentary, and you had a lot of experience and stories to tell from it. But for you as a person, as a journalist in the field, what would you want to see out of it? What results would you want to see out of this documentary?
The results I want to see out of this documentary is that I want to see very many women willing to tell their stories, and I want to see policymakers taking steps to help. I want to see that I can, I want to I don't know, but I want this documentary to be like an example to others, to those who did, because trust me, there are very many women who did know that this can happen, and they were so happy. So I want to see the positive impact from the policymakers. I want to see women being considered in decision-making spaces. I want to see women being considered in participation in everything that is considered. They have a lot of problems. Kindly consider them, put them into those spaces. They can speak so much for them. I want to see that women can be trained so that they can also tell these stories, not through Faridah, but if Faridah can train Hedwin train someone else. So I want to have that kind of a chain where women can train themselves. You train a trainer, I train you, train others. So that's all I want to see, so that at least personally I can give a platform where we can share those stories when they are willing to say those stories out there.
Okay. So in terms of policy, what exactly would you want to see as a result from that documentary that you've covered?
I would like to look so much at the compensation thing, and because this is why everything is happening in families. I want the policymakers to go on ground, because we've mentioned about sexual abuse. These women have been raped by pipeline developers. Kindly go on ground, listen to these stories. I know a lot is happening, and they're writing over 90% have been compensated, but very many women are not compensated, and women are being taken advantage of. At least kindly go on ground and listen to these voices. Let's not assume that everything is done and everything is okay. Yeah, people have lost hope, but they believe that through us we can speak to you. Like through this platform, their voices can reach out to you. Kindly look through this compensation issue and give women hope, give women accountability.
They believe that we journalists can be their voices. Amazing. So that's the power of journalism, that even where people have lost hope, they believe that our voices as journalists can bring that hope again, can reignite that hope. So it just puts us in a place as journalists to really think about our work as not just a job, but a mandate to the people whose stories we tell, to deliver, but also to help them change the situations they are in. So I really hope that the policymakers involved in the oil pipeline, the crude oil pipeline, that's Total Energies.
Yeah, we have China,
Sinok,
we have
UNOC, and all the other partners are able to work on the issues of compensation, but also be able to go back on ground and make sure that everyone is catered for and no one is left out, especially for women whose voices are swept under the carpet and left to be ignored until there's someone that has power to speak for them. Anyway, it's been a very interesting episode to hear the stories that come out of what the things that we underlook.
Yeah.
I know there have been demonstrations on eco, and many of them have been voted off and never really make meaning. But I hope that, and I believe that the power that we have as journalists to speak and to provide platforms for voices that are unheard will be able to make an impact. So I hope to see the power that the documentary Voices Along the Pipeline can bring going forward in the days to come, in the months to come. And I hope that you all watch it and are able to look out for the impact it's going to make, because I believe it's going to make an impact.
I also want to add a voice to women organizations out there. Like, you see what Women in Climate Action is doing. It's giving a voice already to the women. It's giving a voice to the journalists. Kind also consider those women, those who are into human rights. You can provide them with legal support. Some are just suffering with just small issues, but when you step into it, everything will be okay. I want to give a thankful would say handicraft, but we're on camera. But thank you so much, Women in Climate Action. I feel like at least you consider us, you hear our voices, and yeah, we will keep doing great work knowing that we have people behind us.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to host you, and I look forward to more that you're going to do, because I believe you're going to. I literally see a version of me in her, the ambition, the excitement, the passion that I had for these stories coming to light, and I see that in her, and I look forward to what is going to come out of her. And thank you for watching our episodes. This is episode 2, and thank you for staying with Climate Women Media Action. We'll see you again in episode 3. Bye.
Bye.